Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The Senate, having tried Donald John Trump, President of the United States, upon 2 articles of impeachment exhibited against him by the House of Representatives, and 2/3 of the senators present not having found him guilty of the charges contained therein, it is therefore ordered and adjudged that the said Donald John Trump be, and he is hereby, acquitted of the charges in said articles.
Wow! Now can we move on? Now is it possible to move on? Now can we get away from this? At least for now, the answer to that is kind of. What? Yeah. Kinda? Yeah, kinda. We're not moving on from the disdain for Donald Trump. We're not moving on from the fact that people are just still believe he's the most guilty man of every crime, by the way. Every crime. I mean, he's a fascist. He's a dictator. He's a king. He's an emperor. He is, he's guilty of everything ever. But he's still the president. And that's not going anywhere, at least not right now. November, those things could change. But right now, not going anywhere. Not going anywhere at all. Not going anywhere. This isn't over. This just does what the Hillary stuff did. Just fades into rooms, judiciary committees, intelligence committees. It fades into subpoenas, and I'm sure they'll cover it. Right? But at the same time, the media is also getting ready for this giant primary season because they don't want to give everything to Trump. Remember how Trump got elected? Trump was the master. He's the P.T. Barnum of modern times. He used all the tools he could. He used his giant personality, and he hogged the limelight. Nobody else. He walks in the room, he sucks all the air out of the room. He's an energy vampire. He takes everybody's energy. But there's still Iowa hanging out there. That ain't over, by the way. It's a dead heat now, right? I think we could say this. Buttigieg and Sanders won. Whether they finish 1-2 or Buttigieg won and Sanders 2 or vice versa, it doesn't really matter at this point. But now what, right? Well, lots of stuff. First and foremost, Mitt Romney. Mitt yesterday, I thought, so funny. I talked about it to a lot of people. Got blasted for it. As I try to explain to people who Mitt Romney is. And to watch people on my Facebook and everything, he's a traitor. He should be tried for treason. Utah needs to get rid of him. By the way, Utah is rallying around Mitt. So, he doesn't represent you, right, in Tennessee. He doesn't represent the cult that you've been sucked into. He did, first and foremost, what he thought he had to do based on what? His faith.
As a senator juror, I swore an oath before God to exercise impartial justice. I am profoundly religious. My faith is at the heart of who I am. I take an oath before God as enormously consequential. I knew from the outset that being tasked with judging the president, the leader of my own party, would be the most difficult decision I have ever faced. I was not wrong.
And he got blasted for it. The right came out and attacked him. The right came out and went after him over and over again. Still does it, right? And that's not going to go anywhere. He threw everything away that he thought to himself, maybe one day, right? I'm only 72 or 71, somewhere around in there, right? Bernie's older, Biden's older. If Trump doesn't win 4 years from now, could I be that person? The answer now is no. People will not forgive him for this. Now, his state loves him, right? And I think we'll look back in 10 or 15 years in a much different way. We tend to do that. Right? You go back to John Adams, first vice president, second president. What happened to him? He represented the Boston Massacre, the British. He represented people who other people in this country at the time said, no, you shouldn't represent that. You're going to destroy yourself. And everybody went after him. But he did it because he wanted to prove a point, that this is who we are. We're going to show the king and everybody, this is what happens here. We are different. Why he came up to the conclusion that he came up to, I don't know. That's for him. Oh, it's personal. Is some of it personal? He's a human being. Maybe it is. On the other side of things, I look and I think to myself, I think he really believed this. I think he believed that Trump did something that you shouldn't do. I think he wants to hold people to a higher standard. And it's tough in modern politics to hold people to a higher standard when we look at them, and more often than not, they're doing something that the average person will get in trouble for and potentially go to jail for. You can get mad at Mitt Romney all you want, and I know a lot of people are. They're pissed. They're angry. First of all, Trump's removal was never, ever in doubt. He was never being removed, right? He was never, ever, ever, ever being removed. That was never going to happen. It's crazy. You know, they asked, Mitch McConnell, well, what about, this whole thing with him, and is he going to be in the doghouse? And Mitch started laughing. He said, there's no doghouse. The only vote that counts is the next vote. And I think Mitch really believes that, right? I think Mitch really believes that. But this is going to be ugly, right? A lot of people talk a good game, right? Jeff Flake, Arizona, talked a great game about how much he disdain for the president. But you know what it really was? And more often than not, it was the disdain for the person that's the president. Not the president, not even the actions on the political side, right? But who Trump was. I think a lot of that got to Romney. And at this point in time, again, it's over. It's done with. We need to move on. We need to move on to the next, whatever the next is. And that is what's going on right now. Half the time in Iowa, they still try to sort it out. I think we're at like 90. We'll be at 100%. But I don't know how much. Yesterday they came out to 86%, and they had to come out and retract because they got it wrong again. So I don't know if anybody's going to believe it. I think we'll just call it a tie. That's what I'm going to go with. And then we're on to New Hampshire. And you've got a debate tomorrow night. It's, I look at this thing and I think to myself, who's got the chance here? Who really has a chance at beating Trump? I don't think any of these people at this moment in time have a chance. And if you see, electability is massive, right? Electability is massive. I look at all of these candidates. I think Bernie nationwide, while he gets the young excited, he scares a generation and a half or 2 generations with some of the stuff he wants to do. And those generations tend to actually vote. Warren, sorry. Think you're weak. Buttigieg, interesting. We'll see. Biden? No. Last night, he had a CNN thing, and he's a mess.
Add a public option, a Medicare option for those who want it. So if you have your own private insurance, you've negotiated with your company, and you have a good policy and you like it, you get to keep it. If they cancel the policy, you can immediately buy into the what will become the Biden plan, and or you can, in fact, if you don't have the money and you qualify for Medicaid, you'd automatically be admitted.
The Biden plan? You mean Obamacare? That's the Biden plan. Right? He doesn't have his thing, right? He doesn't. He's running on nostalgia. And quite frankly, I don't think he wants to do this. I've said all along, I don't think Biden's up for it. I think if Beau was alive, his son, I think it would be a different conversation to have. But Beau's not. And I think he's tired. He said yesterday Iowa was a gut punch to him. His donors are starting to waver, and they're looking around to where do they put money. And when you start to see the weakness, guess what happens? other candidates are going to start picking off the people that may vote for you in the next primary. Can he make it to Super Tuesday? I don't think he's going to do well in New Hampshire. And while he may win South Carolina, what was once a certainty by double digits, it's only a 5-point lead. Don't know about Nevada. And Super Tuesday? Bloomberg. And we're going to talk about that later. Is he the man to beat? 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Yep, POTUS today, hanging out at the National Prayer, giving his speech, telling people what he thinks. I'm not going to, we'll touch on impeachment and it being over. I don't get at it. I don't want to get in the weeds. It's at this point in time, it's done. I want to forward focus on the things that need to be focused on. But I'll tell you what, his approval rating, up. And when you talk to people who are Republicans, right, when you talk to them, they love what he does. They don't love him so much as far as, the things that he's done in the past and the way that he acts at times and the incessant tweeting, but they love the stuff that he's done. He resonates with them. They like his fighting spirit. They could do without some of the antics. But when you look at pro-gun, pro-life, less regulatory, military, something about that completely resonates with them. And when you look at the job approval rating, it's the largest it's ever been in the gap between the Republicans' approval rating on the president and the Democrats' disapproval. It's like 86% difference. That's insane. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show, your Twitter. Raycons. Love my Raycons. Fall asleep sometimes. I'll have them when I'm watching my iPad resting. Last night I passed out. Had my Raycons in. Woke up. I was like, whoa. Hey, didn't even know they were in. That's how comfortable they are. So amazing. The brand new E25s, 6 hours of playtime, seamless Bluetooth pairing, more bass, more compact designed, noise isolating fit. What's that mean? Well, you're taking a call, where you're working out, whatever it is, you're hearing that, and that's it. That's what's great. And it's great, too, because I'll take a lot of calls, and it's just awesome. So comfortable. The design is amazing. And Ray J's put this together as something that is for the person who loves to listen to audio in the right way, not as a designer like some of these things that you see out there with the wires and the stems. They're made for phones to match up with the phone to look good. These look good, and they sound even better. Now's your chance to get them. Half the price is what you're paying already, and I'm going to save you 15%. Simple and easy. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. That's buyraycon.com/Chad. buyraycon.com/Chad. Do that. Save yourself 15%. You will love these. Chad Benson Show.
Take a fake news break. Check out the really important news of the day at our website, ChadBensonShow.com. Once there, click on Chad's free podcast and get real. The Chad Benson Show, where truth and the American way live. Print free.
It looks as though a small window of freedom that was opening up in China over this crisis is now starting to close. Over the last few weeks, we've seen what many regard as highly unusual public criticism of the government's mishandling of the outbreak being tolerated. But now some of those online articles are simply disappearing. Accounts on the Chinese social media platform WeChat are being suspended, and multiple medical sources in Wuhan have told ABC News they've been instructed not to do interviews and that phone calls from hospitals are being monitored.
Yeah, think about that. Monitored. I got blowback from some people who are Americans, I guess, live in China, listen to the show, and they were just like, you're lying. And I'm like, no. Taiwanese paper is reporting that this is way worse. Do I think it's as bad as they're reporting? I hope not. Is it possible? It is. Would it shock anybody? No. But I think it's worse than the 500 dead and the 15 or 20,000 that are infected. I do think it's worse than that. And then Kara brought up a great thought about the fact that, think about this. You're going to have 1 million visitors a day to Japan for the Olympics that starts in a few months, in July. They're ramping up for it now. What if this is still dangling out there? What's that look like? They're worried about it. Abe, the prime minister, is worried about this. They've spent billions upon billions upon billions of dollars for this thing. They're expecting 40 million visitors this year to Japan. 20-some million just over time of that, month, 2-week lead up to Japan and the Tokyo Olympics. And could you imagine that? If this was something that was still dangling out there? The Women's World Cup, not this past one, the one before that, was played in the United States and I think partially in Canada, wasn't supposed to be here. But we were the default backup, like we are in a lot of things. I mean, the reality is, if this thing got nasty and they still want to go through the Olympics, they would say to somebody, they'll either go back to the last place they had the Olympics, if it's not in danger, or they would say, we're going to come to America, because we have the infrastructure to do this stuff immediately. I mean, you could say a month from now, you guys, Atlanta, Los Angeles, you guys are putting on the Olympics. You guys have to get it ready. They could do it in a month. Be tight, but it could get done because we have the infrastructure. Could you imagine, though, how nasty that would be? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Speaking of nasty,
Bernie Madoff asking for compassionate release from his 150-year prison sentence due to kidney failure, saying he has less than 18 months to live. The 81-year-old pleading guilty in 2009 to 11 federal counts of fraudulent investment involving billions of dollars, swindling hundreds of clients over decades, and orchestrating the largest Ponzi scheme in history. Madoff has served 11 years behind bars. The U.S. Attorney's Office in Manhattan declining comment. Prosecutors are expected to file a motion responding to the request in the next few days.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting out. Maybe the last few months, maybe if that was true and that was real, I could see maybe the last few months they could let him out. But, sorry, probably not going to happen. Probably not going to happen. I saw some reaction to this yesterday from some people, some stars who, quite frankly, lost a lot of money. And just, he ain't getting out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Bloomberg, is he for real? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The number one criteria that Democratic primary voters have for the nominee is what? Beat Donald Trump. That's right. And here's why I am the best person to beat Donald Trump in the general election. You know who has already figured out that I'm his toughest matchup? Donald Trump. I am the only candidate in the field he has not tweeted a word about. And he has not tweeted a word about me for two reasons. Number one, he knows I'm better at the internet than he is. And number two, his most potent attacks are that you're a corrupt D.C. politician, and none of this stuff works on me.
No, he's funny. It's going to be sad to see him go. And like I said, if I was president of the United States, that guy's in my administration somewhere, right? If we have the creative position for him, that's Andrew Yang right there. Just, again, the Yang gang. I like the stuff that Yang talks about. Whether or not it's plausible, whether or not it's realistic, I couldn't tell you, right? First of all, in politics, nothing is ever as it seems. You can come up with the greatest idea. You could roll it out there, and then politics gets involved. And once politics gets involved, that idea gets whittled down. It's like a movie script, right? I think there was a movie probably 20 years ago, 30 years. Kevin Bacon starred in it, and it was, I think it was called The Big Picture. And it was the most hilarious movie about Hollywood, right? 1989. God, that's how long ago. It's 30 years ago this movie comes out. And this is what happened. This guy's like an up-and-coming director. He wins this award from the school he's going to. And everybody wants his script. He becomes the hottest guy in Hollywood. So he has this script. And he sells this script. And he's going to direct this script. And somewhere from the point where he sells the script to the point where he's going to direct this script, the people that he wanted to bring with him to help him do it, the studios don't like. They have their own people. Then what this script was about ends up being torn apart. It was like this long lost, like the Notebook kind of love story that was going to be shot in sepia. And next thing you know, it's about ghost and you know, there's a scene of sex and all. That's politics, right? It's like even Bernie. Like Bernie gets elected. You think you're getting anything done? You're not getting stuff done. Even people in your own party who are, quote, part of the establishment have lobbyists. They're going to be all over them saying, do we need to primary you? Right? That's why Bernie said, you need to get out there. We need to start a revolution. Even when I'm in office, you start a revolution. Even when I'm in office, you get out there on a daily basis. Millions of people marching. That's what he wants because he knows that's what he has to have. That's what he absolutely has to have. You have to have that. And even at that, you're going to get anything done? You have 535 people in D.C., and it doesn't take a ton. Throw a monkey wrench in something. So that's the funny thing about this, right? Just because you lay out your plan, once you find out that people start looking at your plan, what's in it for me? What's in it for my area? What's in it for my constituents? How does it hurt my constituents? What's this going to cost? How much can I get out of that? Yeah. Funny, though. I love it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Tell you what, the winner from Iowa as we head into New Hampshire is absolutely Michael Bloomberg. Bloomberg's got a smile on his face. And if you look at some of the numbers that are popping up right now, guys, he may be for real. People say, well, he's buying it. Well, Tom Steyer's a billionaire. He ain't buying his way into anything. Tom Steyer got less than 1% of the vote. Less than 1% of the vote. Think about that for a second. He spends all this money, and he's been going at it much longer. Now, granted, his name isn't as big as Bloomberg, but he's been going at it much longer. He's had ads all over MSNBC and CNN nonstop since Trump was elected about how he's going to take him out. But you look at some of the new polls that are coming out nationwide, not in places like New Hampshire where Bloomberg hasn't been, or where you go to South Carolina and Nevada. No, but you look at the nationwide polls, and it's about electability. What do they want? They want somebody to beat Trump. Even Yang said that. Yang said the number one thing at the caucus, 62% of people said the most important thing wasn't health care, wasn't immigration, wasn't the economy. It was somebody who could beat Trump. Nationwide, people are starting to look and say, is that guy that's most electable somebody who's has the best chance to beat Trump on that stage? Is it Bloomberg? I think it is. I absolutely think it is. I think Bernie's politics itself will speak for itself, and I think they're counting on that. That moderate Democrats are going to go third party, or they're not going to come out and vote. Bernie's people, while enthusiastic, nationwide, does it have the same draw? I don't know if it does. I think in big cities it might, but in rural areas, in the Midwest, I don't think he's going to have that same kind of pull. Mike Bloomberg occupies a lane that Biden was in that is now getting to be more trafficky, if you will. It's a little traffic jam there because Buttigieg is taking up a lot of that lane, and he's going faster. But there's the question about the age and whether people want to address it or not. There's a question about, him being gay, which shouldn't matter, but it does. Bloomberg, though, super successful, right? has been a Republican. He's all over the place. Will people trust him? I don't know. He should have run as an independent. Maybe he will. That would be hilarious. That would be. But I think when you look at electability, people are going to look across the board. You look at the new Gallup poll. You look at the new Morning Consult, and Mike Bloomberg is in front when it comes to taking on Trump and beating him. So I think he's a for real candidate. He is spending tons of his money, which, by the way, I am totally fine with. Oh, they're just trying to buy the election. I'm fine with that, right? Because you're trying to buy your election as well. You just want to use other people's money. I like the fact that he wants to use his own money. That should be refreshing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. White guilt.
And when I say ladies, I want to be clear that this is anybody that identifies as a woman and yeah, white women talking to you. So I am talking with you this morning because I've been doing something that's racist. And I think I thought maybe it was like a little racist. Fact is no such thing. Totally racist and very problematic.
There is a dinner that women spend up to $2,500. White women, by the way. White women. It's called Race to Dinner. Right? So it's Race to Dinner. It's a 2-hour event with Regina Jackson and Soraya Rao. And you go to this dinner, and essentially they talk about how awful you are and how racist you are. That was one person who works with them, you know. But there are many others, and boy, they echo the same sentiment. It drives me crazy. I'm gonna throw it out there, right? Like when you look through the lens of everything is race and this intersectionality world where everybody has to be, white male that's straight. You are the worst person on earth. You were all that's wrong with America, all that's wrong with the world. Even though you were my 9-year-old son is, as far as people like this are concerned, is the worst person on the planet because he was born as a white heterosexual male. And that's just automatically makes you a bad person. And it's so funny as they talk about this stuff, and reading some of the reviews, like some people thought they were going to go there to learn some things. And they said, some of them did, like, I did come out learning some stuff. And other people like, I went there and for 2 hours they berated me till I cried a lot and made me feel worse about who I was. Because that's what it's all about. It's white guilt.
Hey, y'all, it's Lisa, your resident white woman here. And today we're going to talk about the big call out or call in or whatever you want to call it. That moment when somebody around you says or does something racist, what do you do? So it's holiday season time. There's going to be parties over here, parties over there, it's a party everywhere, right? And inevitably, somebody's going to say or do something racist. How do you respond?
Inevitably? Well, yeah, Chad, and inevitably somebody's going to say or do something that's racist. What? What have I said forever? In this day that we live now, in this woke culture, it's not what you say, it's how it's taken. Right? The what you think was holding the door for somebody is now misogyny and sexism, right? What you thought was, well, fine, I won't do that again, and then I open the door and I close it. The person coming behind happens to be a black female. That's racism. You can't win for losing. And the fact that you would go and pay, it's crazy when you think about this, right? When people talk about race. The same people that want to talk about race want to judge you based on your race, based on whether or not you're male or female. They're judging you the same way you think they're judging them. And it's nuts. And the fact that people pay to go to these things is insane. But in this day and age, in a certain, and I hear things like this, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, this is why Trump. This is why Trump. This kind of stuff is the reason why Trump. People get frustrated, And so you've got white liberal women that are paying $2,500 to go be berated because maybe it makes them feel better. It's insane. That to me, just, we can't have normal conversations in this country because we have now put so many people on notice that if you dare step out of line, or what is perceived to be stepping out of line, if you know you didn't think you'd do anything, you'll get damned to hell. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Car Shield. Over 1 million customers. You're thinking, what's Car Shield, Chad? Let me tell you what Car Shield is. Say you got a car, right? You bought a car. It was used. Right? You didn't get a factory warranty with it, but you like it. You love it. You like not having a payment. Guess what? This is where Car Shield comes in. Car Shield has affordable plans that can save you thousands on cover repairs, including things like computers, systems inside, GPS, electronics, and so much more. You get to choose the plan. You get to choose your favorite mechanic. And this is what I love. You get 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car for free. So they're going to take it where you tell them to take it. They're going to make sure you've got wheels to get to and from wherever you need to go while your car's getting worked on. And you get to choose. I take it to my favorite mechanic. Take it to the dealership. You pay a small deductible. They get them paid directly. It's that simple. 1 million customers. Why don't you join now? Simple and easy. Tell them what kind of car you have, what kind of plan you're looking at. $99 is usually what plans are starting at. So worth it. Let me tell you something. Absolutely worth it. You're going to love it. Call them today. Car Shield. Simple and easy. Say, Chad sent me. Hey, Benson. That's all you got to say. You're going to save yourself 10%. 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Use my code Benson to save you 10%, or check everything out online at carshield.com, carshield.com. Use that code Benson to save you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
I'm so tired. I'm exhausted.
If you're part of the politically exhausted majority, don't fear. Your time to be validated and rejuvenated is here. Wake up. It's the Chad Benson Show.
My family, our great country, and your president have been put through a terrible ordeal by some very dishonest and corrupt people.
Trump today. You know, when you're going to take people out, the best place to do it is at the National Prayer Breakfast. That is the best place to put people on blast. Because after Mitt, the Democrats, just, wow. You sit there and go, okay, well, not a lot you can do. What did you expect? He's going to take I don't know how long his victory lap is going to be. I think he'll get through the next day or two and then on to something else. But as they bring it up, he'll bring it up. I don't think it's going to be long as people think, but he is definitely going to take himself a decent amount of time in the next 24 to 48 hours to remind everybody that he did nothing wrong and that everybody else is bad.
You see a verified review for something you want to buy online, but have you ever stopped to ask yourself, verified by who?
The average consumer thinks that if it's a verified buyer, it's really someone who bought the product.
But small business expert Angelique Ruhr says that review was probably written by a pro. Another giveaway, over-the-top reviews.
This is the most amazing product I've ever bought. This is the most awesome thing I've ever invested in or bought off Amazon.
Ruhr says most consumers won't say that, nor will they mention the full name of the product over and over again.
Yeah. It's so hard, because what's our default now? It's like we're going to check the internet, and we all go, and it's like everything else. It's hard to take so many of these things seriously because everybody always seems to be over the top one way or another, right? And there's that old adage, which is if you have a good steak, you tell one person. If you have a bad steak, you'll tell 10. So were you pissed and angry? Were you not pissed and angry? What was the deal? It's kind of funny to watch because I'll go through some of these things. I'm like, there's no way. Because I leave reviews because I stay in a lot of hotels. Usually about 100 nights a year. I'm in a hotel somewhere, traveling, doing something. And so if I get good service and stuff, I will leave good reviews that are real. And the other part about reviews, too, sometimes it's such a pain in the ass. I mean, have you ever done a review where they take you somewhere else, right? Hey, would you write a review, or would you give, how would you rate our service? And you go, I'll give you 4 stars, right? And you click on it, and then it takes you to another web page, and then just to give them 4 stars, you have to spend 10 minutes of your time. And you get nothing for it, too. You get nothing for it. So that's the other part. So a lot of times I just don't trust that. I've got to try it for myself. Absolutely. The only way to do it. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. The only reviews I tend to listen to, though, are like if my friends that I know and trust go to something and they say it's awful, then I can believe them. It's a big if. 323-538-2423. Check out the Instagram as well. What do you think about Bloomberg? Has he got a chance? How long do you think Trump's going to take this? Is this going to be a 2 days dance around and celebration, or is this a long, long celebration ahead? Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Courageous Republican politicians and leaders had the wisdom, fortitude, and strength to do what everyone knows was right.
Except for that Romney character. You know when you should really attack your people that you deem as your enemies is when you're at a prayer breakfast. Like, that's the best time. Like, what would Jesus do? Oh, he would totally destroy his enemies here. It's not very nice, Chad. Oh, whatever. Get over yourselves. Both sides of you need to get over yourselves. He's acquitted. We're moving on. There's another battle to be had, and that battle is New Hampshire. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to actually pick up any momentum? Because right now, it feels kind of flat. And the Democrats this week, it was, Iowa was a joke, still not finished. And even when it gets done, nobody believes anything. The one thing I think is fairly certain that 1 and 2 are Buttigieg and Sanders. Right? Those you can, again, you can flip them, but at the end of the day, they're going to take away from it. But there was no clear winner on a day that there should have been on Monday. So you can take that momentum for, 48 hours, maybe 72 hours, and ride that into New Hampshire. There was none of that stuff. It was just chaos and silliness.
From what we know, Mayor Pete Buttigieg is winning the number of delegates. And that is what matters when it comes to the convention. 41 were up for grabs in Iowa. And we also know that Senator Bernie Sanders just had a lot of people turn out from these initial results. He won the popular vote. He had lots of people turn out for him and put their support behind him.
Yeah. And that's why people are like, wait, hold on. So he had a lot of people turn out. He won the popular vote. But the other guy won the delegate. It's an old, weird thing, and they've tried to modernize it, and it went to hell in a handbasket, and here's the reality of it. Just go to New Hampshire. 41 delegates mean nothing in the scheme of things at this point in time, right? It means very little. The big thing was pick up the momentum, steal more from Biden, because the Biden is struggling. And you can see how bad he's struggling. He looks an absolute mess. He does.
I am not going to sugarcoat it. We took a gut punch in Iowa. The whole process took a gut punch. But look, this isn't the first time in my life I've been knocked down.
Yeah. But I don't think you're getting up on this one. I just don't. You're hearing that your donors are looking around. Where do they put the money? Do they sit on the sidelines? for now and wait and see if Mayor Pete can pick things up. You went after him, called him basically a small-town mayor. You went after Sanders. You have to do this now. You have no choice.
But if Senator Sanders is a nominee for the party, every Democrat in America up and down the ballot, in blue states, red states, purple states, it's easy districts and competitive ones, every Democrat will have to carry the label Senator Sanders has chosen for himself.
Yeah. Socialism. Ooh, yeah. Yeah, that's tough. At the end of the day, people are going to go and vote, and if he's there, that socialism label sitting right there, and that makes people uncomfortable. It makes it very, very uncomfortable for a lot of people, especially older voters who haven't been indoctrinated in colleges, who haven't been sitting there listening to the greatness of the Che Guevaras and all the great things they've done and never any of the bad that's come with it, but only their ideology of what it could have looked like. So that's a tough thing to get an older generation to come over to. And he can preach all day about, hey, it's not like, it's like Finland, it's like Norway, it's the Scandinavian model. You talk about that all day. But when you hear the Scandinavians say, well, we're not socialists, we're free market, and you continue to throw it out there, which is completely disingenuous, that is a tough thing. People aren't going to buy that. And I think, well, he's got a lot of the younger people excited. He's got some older people excited, but the younger generation is really excited. This older generation tends to do what? They tend to commit and vote. And I'm not quite sure we're ready for Bernie Sanders. And even if he wins, I don't think the world's going to hell. I don't think we're going to become Venezuela overnight. That's just not going to happen. We're a fickle bunch, and we have a very fun way of doing things like, hey, you know what? This is funny. We've decided to give more to the Republicans in the Senate and give them back the House. That's the kind of thing that we do. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. How big is the coronavirus? People are asking the question. Right? Now we've got a baby that has been diagnosed with it. You've got serious questions being asked all over the place about the coronavirus. How much is real and not real when it comes to the numbers coming out of there? You've got planes landing here again, and then you've got this big crazy thing with, the Olympics as well. So is it as bad as people say? I don't know.
With those cases of coronavirus surging, there's now set to be 2 more planes of Americans packed with hundreds of people coming back to the United States. They will be monitored every step of the way and then placed into quarantine for at least 2 weeks.
Yeah, 2 weeks in quarantine. And if you don't know anything about like epidemics, why would you? But if you go and study epidemics or even look at, it's not like a 4-week thing or a 6-week thing. Many times epidemics last a year, 2 years. They spread. It spreads faster now than before because a lot of times travel, when these things were big, wasn't like it is now. I mean, you weren't getting to the other side of the world in 12 hours or 14 hours. And the question about the Olympics is becoming real as well.
Japan is already on edge. With just 6 months to go before the Summer Olympics in Tokyo, local media is reporting the chief executive of the Games admits they're, quote, extremely worried about the virus's impact on the Olympics.
Yeah. 1 million people pretty much a day, about 950,000 people a day they're expecting during the Olympics. And over that month period, so the run-up and then the 2 weeks plus of the Olympics, they're expecting about 20 million people and 40 million people this year. You spend billions of dollars to get the games and then to rework everything in Tokyo, to make everything right for the IOC. New stadiums, you retrofit and redesign old stadiums. You're doing all of these things. And what if this thing gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger? What does that look like? It looks like a mess is what it looks like. Looks like an absolute disaster. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. So I work out a lot. I'm an active person. And like I play soccer. I try to play soccer 3 days a week, 4 days a week. And then I go run and do a bunch of stuff. And sometimes I say to myself, I like to do a little bit more. And that's where Beat Elite comes in. This stuff is incredible. So it gives me a great edge naturally. So I started taking Beat Elite. They said, hey, will you try this stuff? I said, absolutely. They said, we got tons of teams around the country and around the world that take this stuff, and it's amazing. And will you start trying it? I said, absolutely. So Human sent me the stuff. They're called Human. And it's amazing. My endurance level, I take about a half an hour before, through the roof. Energy, stamina, oxygen deliveries increase throughout the body. So when I play in soccer, I really feel it, especially in games. It's amazing. So you're going to find out why. I want you guys to try this stuff. It is absolutely awesome. Take it about 30, 45 minutes before you go work out and see and feel the difference. Do what I did. Take your game to the next level with Beat Elite by going to livehuman.com/Chad. You're going to save 20% off your first purchase. The team of Human is making this offer just for you guys exclusively. You're not going to find a deal anywhere else like this. Go to livehuman.com/Chad. 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 Chad Benson Show.
Don't let the Washington Beltway strangle you. This is where the exhausted majority comes to refuel, realign, and reevaluate. This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Oh, crazy stuff. Super crazy stuff. I just laugh. I don't know where some of these people come up with this stuff. So what's trending? Take a look. You on the Google? A lot of stuff's trending. Rolling Stones concert tour, trending. Gayle King, we're going to talk about that in a little bit with Kobe Bryant. Gayle King asked Lisa Leslie about the rape allegations. And Kobe Bryant, of course, for that, she's a bad person. The National Prayer Breakfast, Donald Trump taking his victory speech, and the best place to do that is at a prayer breakfast. That is the absolute best place. Like, what would Jesus do? He would go to a prayer breakfast and put everybody on blast. Exactly what he would do. Go over to Twitter with 97%. Because I don't think we're ever going to find out what the real thing is in Iowa. Bernie won Iowa. Ronald Reagan, coronavirus, Thankful Thursday, GOP dictator party. Matt Gaetz is a tool. He is a tool. It's not very nice, Chad. I spent enough time with him to know. Mitt Romney is a patriot. Mitt Romney is a traitor. It's just so funny. And for those of you out there, so yesterday, Mitt Romney trended everywhere because he did what he thought was the right thing to do. In his mind, for his faith, for who he was as a person. And to watch people react to that and the trends yesterday that were going on all of across Google and Facebook and Yahoo, and it's so many. All that matters is all that matters is Utah. He's a senator in Utah. They're like, well, I had to explain to people that they're not going to vote him out in November because he's not up for re-election. And the people of Utah are rallying around Mitt Romney. They are. They're rallying around Mitt Romney. Well, they should get rid of him. They should impeach him. I mean, some of the stuff, it's so amazing, the anger that we can have. But it's not just that. Like yesterday, I said what he did. I thought, man, that guy's got cojones, right? He's not brave. I'm like, really? He's got massive cojones. Dude talks talk and walks the walk. He's got massive cojones to do what he did yesterday. Well, he hates Trump. I don't think Mitt Romney hates anybody. But he took a stand, what he thought was right. It was a tough day for him yesterday, no doubt about that.
As a senator juror, I swore an oath before God to exercise impartial justice. I am profoundly religious. My faith is at the heart of who I am. I take an oath before God as enormously consequential. I knew from the outset that being tasked with judging the president, the leader of my own party, would be the most difficult decision I have ever faced. I was not wrong.
And by the way, how many Republicans were there when he gave that speech yesterday? 4. 4 of them were there. He's in a wilderness and on an island by himself. Nobody likes him right now. As far as like the left does, they like what he did, but they still don't like anything about it. He goes against everything they stand for. Right? His strong faith, Second Amendment, pro-life. I mean, he goes against all of pro-business. He goes against all the things they stand for. They just like the fact that he went after Trump. And the right, they don't like him now either. Some of the right. I talked to several. I was texting back and forth with several people who are currently representing the United States as both senators and Congress people, and they're like, that's a ballsy move. Was. Well, Mitch is going to get him. Mitch isn't going to get him. Mitch needs him, right? It's not like there's 70 Republicans in the Senate and you can afford to go, whatever. We don't need you. No. But I said, I thought it was gutsy. Man, people came after me. You hate the president. You're a scumbag. I hope you die. I'm like, oh, my God. You're part of a cult, right? You've become part of a cult. Some of the stuff that it's just insane. I don't know how people get there. I don't. I do not know how people get to this point. It's nuts. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Trump today, prayer breakfast.
I don't like people who use their faith as justification for doing what they know is wrong. Nor do I like people who say, I pray for you, when they know that that's not so.
Well, first of all, the prayer thing from Nancy Pelosi, I thought it was a bunch of BS. Right. I think Mitt Romney believes in his heart he did the right thing, because I think Mitt Romney looks at this in a much different way. You tried to use a what Congress had allocated for the Ukrainians. You tried to use that as a way to get information on a potential political rival that would have benefited you. And he looked at it as if it benefited the country, it's one thing, but this was about you. So I think that's abuse of power, and I think he believes that that was worth removing the president. We can debate whether it was or wasn't. Doesn't matter. It was never going to happen anyways. But still, a lot of cojones. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
lot of these candidates have invested so much time and resources into Iowa. So now it comes to looking at this race. You have Senator Bernie Sanders. Well, he has a pretty robust operation here on the ground. He has the most paid staffers. He's tied for the most field offices with Senator Elizabeth Warren. So really, it's going to be sort of a fight to the finish. And Senator Bernie Sanders won this state in 2016, so he's hoping to do it again.
Yeah, I think he will. It's his backyard. I think he will. But what's he look like going into Super Tuesday? Is Biden even around come Super Tuesday? I think he is, but I think Super Tuesday will finish Biden off. I do. I think it will finish Biden off. He sounds absolutely, every time I see him on TV now, he sounds dejected. He looks like he's not up for any of this stuff. And you could see it, man. You could absolutely see, talking about the gut punch, he didn't sound good.
We're 24 hours later, they're still trying to figure out what happened in Iowa. I am not going to sugarcoat it. We took a gut punch in Iowa.
Yeah. He just doesn't look good. He doesn't. He gets confused. I mean, do you hear him talking about Rush Limbaugh? Right? I mean, he starts in one area. It's just, you're like, what?
Rush Limbaugh spent his entire time on the air dividing people, belittling people, talking about blacks in ways, African Americans in ways that... Anyway, I do feel badly, and I mean this sincerely, that he's suffering from a terminal illness. But the idea that he receives a medal that is of the highest honor, that I find, quite frankly, driven more by trying to maintain your right-wing political credentials than it is anything else.
Huh? What? I don't know. I just don't think he's up for it. I just don't think he is. And I just think that more and more that's coming out, that he's not up for it. So Kobe Bryant died, right? And, we talk about how we are tribal, like with Trump, right? Now everybody hates Mitt Romney. If you say anything against, Trump, they're coming for you. It's ridiculous. And I just live in a world of truth. I don't care about, whether you hate me or like me. I don't care. I'm going to tell it to you like it is. Both sides are ridiculous at times, and both sides make points at times. Nobody has monopoly on bad or good ideas or stupid things or good things. They don't, right? Kobe is becoming like that now, too, where he is becoming a divisive issue. So for the first few days, you had one woman from the Washington Post, right? Felicia Sonmens, who posted that thing after he died, a story that she didn't write that was 2 years old about what took place on that Colorado night and how we'll never know the truth. And she was suspended from the Washington Post, and she got destroyed, and there was like 10,000 death threats. It was ridiculous. It's emotion. Remember, it's all about emotion. If you can keep your emotions in check, you'll do well in life. Not that you shouldn't have emotions. It's okay to have emotions. That's what makes us human. But it's when you act out on those emotions more often than not that things just get out of hand. So Gayle King asked Lisa Leslie, probably one of the top 5 female basketball players of all time, about Kobe's situation and whether or not, what took place on that night, And she is getting absolutely destroyed. So Michael Rappaport, as we all know, the comedian, the actor, and the loudmouth, takes to his Twitter to come after her, right? This is just like Trump. Whether you love him or hate him, this is how people handle these things nowadays. Getting angry because somebody they see as a hero or as something sent here from God or as above any kind of whatever was talked about in a negative way.
Fucking Gayle King, goofy ass, nasty ass, disrespect asking the great classy Lisa Leslie about accusations about the late great Kobe Bryant. What Lisa Leslie should have said to you, what about the accusations that you and Oprah been freaking off for the last 35 years, and Stedman is a beard for that. What about those actors? Let's talk about those accusations, Gayle.
That's the insanity, right? Well, how dare you? How dare you come after? I said the other day when we talked about Kobe, you cannot talk about Kobe unless you talked about everything. And that was part of everything. So he continues.
Why do you even have a job? The only reason why you have a fucking job is because of Oprah Winfrey. But what about the accusations that you guys, you and Oprah, have been freaking off for 35 years? And then I would have followed that up with, why are you wearing Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs makeup on your grill? This ain't the fucking circus. Why Snow White makeup on you? Look doofy, Gayle. Fucking Gayle King.
Why? Because somebody challenged his hero, right? On the other side of that, right? On the other side of that, you've got a principal who said something to the exact opposite of that about Kobe's death.
Camas High School principal Liza Sakura admits she wrote on Facebook after hearing about basketball star Kobe Bryant's death in a helicopter crash this post that read, "Not gonna lie, seems to me that karma caught up with a rapist today." It was a reference to a 2003 case where Bryant faced rape charges involving a 19-year-old woman. The charges were eventually dropped and Bryant settled a lawsuit filed by the woman out of court.
I, have some personal experience that generated the visceral reaction.
Yeah, and that's a lot of times what happens, right? And it's experience and it's an emotion. And the Washington Post reporter said she was a sexual assault survivor. And I said, look, we have to look at the whole body of work in Kobe's life. And in that whole body of work of Kobe's life, it was never proven. He said out of court, he apologized, said that he had one take on what took place that night. She had another take on what took place that night. We will never know the truth, but it's okay to talk about it. But just the accusations of talking about it or him evokes an emotion.
Honestly, I think she should step down. Those types of things, you just really can't be saying that. It's one thing if another student or someone else said that, I would still have the same feelings. But when you're a public figure and people look up to you, and you're the principal of a school full of kids, and you say something like that, you're definitely set to a higher standard.
Yeah, you are set to a higher standard. But she said what she said based on an emotion. He, Michael Rappaport, acted the way he acted because somebody said something about a person that he loved, and that evoked an emotion. It's like Trump, right? Like Romney yesterday and today is getting just deluged with nothing but hate. He's getting some love too, but he's getting deluged with just nothing but hate. Why? Because Trump evokes that kind of emotion. There are just certain things that do, certain triggers.
Sakura wasn't at school today after being placed on leave for her own safety. I talked with her yesterday and asked if she still felt the same way about her post.
Do you still feel like Kobe Bryant deserved to die?
And that was not my intent. I guess when I think of karma, I think of what comes around goes around. Like I said, I posted the comment before I had any details. It was in poor taste. I regret that.
That apology rang hollow to some students.
It just seemed really fake and just manufactured.
Fake and manufactured, bro. Was. It's just, it is funny. Again, just listening to people in emotion. And you look at our politics, and we now have a place where we can get our emotions out in just a split second. And we can get angry, and we can say all kinds of things, and we can act all kinds of way. And I don't think it's good. I'm sorry. But the more that you can take a deep breath and say to yourself, would I say that to somebody? Would I say that to somebody in real life, in front of them? The one thing about social media is it gives you complete anonymity, right? You come up with a weird name, you fight and you argue with people, you say horrible things, because there's nothing that's going to come back and bite you in the ass for the average person, right? When you're arguing with somebody. For the average person. Some people, you'll say something and next thing you know, you're getting fired from your job. But in reality, you say some of these things to people's faces and you better duck. But demotion, man, same thing, man. Just Kobe Bryant, whether it's Donald Trump or Mitt Romney, just hear people's emotions. Ah. Take a deep breath, man. Smile. Life's good. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. Love hearing from you. Kids, did you guys know this? Let's take a look here. Valentine's Day. Wow. Next Friday. What are you doing? Fellas, tell you what you're doing. Getting the best rose bouquets around. The best deals. 1-800-Flowers.com. Now, stop waiting. You know, it's simple and easy. They've got the best deals. I got 2 dozen. They were awesome. Oh, my goodness. They were incredible. They sent it to me. Said, check these things out. I said, holy moly. Long stem, look amazing. You can order early. You can get 18 red roses from 1-800-Flowers.com for $29.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for $10 more. So think about that. $29.99 for 18, upgrade to 24 for $10 more. Simple and easy. Picked at their peak, shipped overnight to ensure freshness. Now's your chance. Jump in on this. It expires Friday. You want to get this now. Get yourself set up. You pick your delivery date. Let 1-800-Flowers handle the rest of it. Don't wait. Don't be that person wandering around in the supermarket on that day or buying from the side of the road. Don't be that person because she's going to know. Make it convenient and easy and win the day. To order 18 red roses for $29.99 or upgrade to 24 red roses for only $10 more, go to 1-800-Flowers.com. Click on the radio icon. Enter code Benson, BENSON. That's 1-800-Flowers.com, code Benson to get this amazing deal. Chad Benson Show.
No fake outrage here, just the real thing. The Chad Benson Show.
Contempt kills marriages. Contempt kills relationships. Contempt kills love. And contempt is ripping our country apart. We're like a couple on the rocks in this country. Don't believe it? Turn on primetime TV. Look at social media. Watch how we talk to each other.
That is Dr. Arthur C. Brooks' National Prayer Breakfast keynote speech. While he's doing that, Trump's coming out and blasting the Democrats and the Republican Mitt Romney, the Republican Mitt Romney.
Arthur, I don't know if I agree with you.
I don't know if I agree with you. Arthur, I don't know if I agree with you. Oh, goodness me. Contempt kills. Yeah, we don't look at each other. I said that yesterday, man. At what point in time can you say to yourself, I don't like you because you believe something I don't? Like, I could never, in my mind, do that. I couldn't. I'm talking about real, like, conversation in people, not people that are out so far on the fringes that are talking about blowing stuff up. And, no, I'm just talking about somebody who's like, I can't stand Trump and I'm going to vote for somebody else, whoever that person is. And I'm like, well, I can't be your friend. Like, I could never do that. But we've now only look at each other as this, the enemy. And that is not a good thing. That is not a good thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Are you a good tipper? Market Watch. Funny article. Americans think themselves as great tippers, but a distressing number fail to actually do it. Very much a generational thing. So baby boomers, really good at tipping, right? Gen Xers, really good at tipping. Millennials, not good. Not good at it. And then it's where do you tip? That was the thing that was very interesting. So the Fed Reserve estimates boomers are sitting on about $61 trillion in wealth. Gen X, about a quarter of that. Millennials, just $3 trillion in wealth. They said that has something to do with it. But I just think it's different. Millennials while they're less likely to tip overall, those that do are much likely to tip more generously. About 18% say they typically tip more than 25%. More than half of millennials said they consider tipping optional, compared to just 33% of boomers. I don't think it's optional, right? No way. I just don't think it is. But it's also weird because, like, a lot of the, especially millennials, only like 54% of them say they would tip a pizza guy or gal, person, whatever. Doesn't offend anybody. I'm like, no way. Really? Like, totally. They're working. They're busting their hump. It's a couple bucks, right? It's $15 for the pizza. You give them a 20, say keep the tip. But I'm amazed at, because like tipping is I always tip. And I tip at places, the big one we always talk about is the hotels, right? So like when I'm with myself, like I stayed at a hotel last night, and like you would never even known anybody was in there at all. I'll leave a couple bucks, right? Whatever cash I have. This weekend, I'm going to be with Jack and the kids. We're going to be running around. That hotel is going to be destroyed. I may clean everything up as much as possible, but they're kids, and we're going to have a lot of trash, and the trash cans are going to be full, and they're going to be, pillows are going to be everywhere because, I will drop a 20 down. And people always look at me like, what? You would do what? Yes, absolutely. 100%. They're busting their hump, making barely nothing. You bet they should. But people are just, because even Jack will go, Dad, what are you doing? I said, well, you tip. You tip. It's like, you do? I said, yeah. I thought we were only supposed to tip waiters and waitresses. No, man. You tip so many people. This is their livelihood. And when they provide a good service. And I said, and based on what you guys end up doing to these places, should probably pay them a lot more. I might have to go take out a loan. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Barely 1 in 3, they say, leave a tip, millennials, for parking attendants or staff who clean their hotel rooms. 1 in 3. That's overall. But millennials are virtually nothing. Because I don't think they even think about it. Fewer than 50% say they tip taxi drivers. Are you kidding me? But the millennials are more apt to, especially with Uber and stuff, to leave a, this person was good or bad. I try to do it all, and I try to do as much as possible because I just think, people are working for it. And if they're working for it, they deserve it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. It's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from you. Text the program as well. Check out the Instagram. This is the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
I don't like people who use their faith as justification for doing what they know is wrong. Nor do I like people who say, I pray for you, when they know that that's not so.
Awkward! Trump today at the prayer breakfast, and I continue to say it, nowhere else is there a better place to put people on blast. And when you're in a room full of people who have faith, and put them on blast. Yeah, he said that last part about the prayer. The first part was about Mitt Romney and what he did. The second part was about Nancy Pelosi. Guess where Nancy is? Yeah, she's at the prayer breakfast. He's like, oh, you're here too?
We pray that commercial interests never blind us to the ongoing human rights struggle fought by so many throughout the world. Let us raise our voices in prayer as one in this struggle for freedom. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Amen.
Amen. And dear Lord, she's going to speak. Well, I mean, from here on out, every question for the next coming few weeks is going to be all about this. Was this the right thing to do, Nancy? Do you feel like that you shouldn't have done this? Should you have censured him, right? Should you have done something else when it comes to Trump and this whole thing? Did you overreach? Did you move too fast? I mean, there's a lot of questions that are going to be asked about, I've said all along, she could have held on to it. She could have censored him. They should have just censored him, and they could have moved on. They didn't, and they went for the whole kit and caboodle, and it didn't play out the way they thought. And as far as that first part was about Mitt Romney and the fact that he voted to convict Trump over the abuse of power, not the obstruction of justice, which was, not of justice, but of Congress, which is a joke, but the abuse of power. And it had a lot to do with his faith.
As a senator juror, I swore an oath before God to exercise impartial justice. I am profoundly religious. My faith is at the heart of who I am. I take an oath before God as enormously consequential. I knew from the outset that being tasked with judging the president, the leader of my own party, would be the most difficult decision I have ever faced. I was not wrong.
No, you weren't wrong. You were right. A lot of people are mad at you, right? A lot of people. Trump's family's coming after you, and a lot of Republicans are coming after you. But at the end of the day, you felt what you did was the right thing based on what you saw. That's it. I'm not going to sit here and say anything else. That's what it is, right? He was never going to be removed, right? Mitt Romney did not count as 20 votes. He counted as one. He looked up, thought to himself, this right here was something that I believe that Trump did for the betterment of Trump and not the American people. And in doing so, I believe that he should be removed. All right. There you go. We're moving on with our lives. I think we'll look back on Romney in a much different way years down the road. It doesn't help him now, but he's not going anywhere. People of Utah have rallied around him, so you can hate him if you're in Orlando. You can hate him if you're in Cedar Rapids. You can hate him if you're in Seattle or San Diego or you can have a disdain for him, whether you're in Long Beach, California, right? You can have a disdain for him. But the people of Utah rallying around Mitt. That's their guy. He did what he did based on the reasons that he thought he had to do those things. I've said from top to bottom, I find this entire thing a joke. I think what Trump did was absolutely wrong. Did it rise to the level of removal? I did not believe so. But he's got a lot of stuff that he needs to clean up, and I hope he learned from this. I do. I don't know if he will. But I hope he did learn from this. But at the end of the day, he was never going anywhere. He just wasn't. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens because now it's about what's going to take place in November. That's why they're going to subpoena more people. They're going to bring a bunch of people up there, right? You're going to hear from the Boltons of the world and everybody else they think they can get in there. And they're going to do all they can to try to get the American people to see what they see is wrong. But when you look at Trump, right? You go and you look at Trump. And you look at all of the stuff when it comes to him. Realize this. His approval ratings right now for the people that are in his base is huge. That's it. It's massive. He's not going anywhere, at least based on the Republicans. So you're going to have to figure out how you get a few people that are truly independent some disgruntled people that have sworn off the Republican Party but aren't thrilled with the likes of somebody like Bernie Sanders. And a lot of people who may just say, you know what, I'm going to sit this one out because I feel like nobody here represents anything that I believe in. Speaking of Bernie Sanders, New Hampshire, they're heading there. Iowa seems to be pretty much a toss-up, right? So Buttigieg and him will split some of those and they move on with their lives, and we'll never know really what the entire thing looked at. Tomorrow night, they've got a huge debate. This is their chance to put really, I think what you're racing for here is second place. I think Bernie's going to win this, but now it's a three-way race for second. You've got Warren, who's still very quiet, hasn't done a ton. She finished third, pretty decent showing. You've got Buttigieg and you've got Biden, and Biden looks awful. And Sanders looks like right now, at least going into this one, and is as the guy with the momentum.
A lot of these candidates have invested so much time and resources into Iowa. So now it comes to looking at this race. You have Senator Bernie Sanders. Well, he has a pretty robust operation here on the ground. He has the most paid staffers. He's tied for the most field offices with Senator Elizabeth Warren. So really, it's going to be sort of a fight to the finish. And Senator Bernie Sanders won this state in 2016, so he's hoping to do it again.
Yeah, and I think he will. Biden, though, I don't know what's up with Biden. Fallen further and further behind. I don't think he really wants to be here. I think it's, as far as he's done, it's concerned, that this is just, he just doesn't have it. His donors are looking elsewhere. You've got people now who are taking a hard look at Bloomberg and Buttigieg. Which one would they go to? I think more often than not, the person that will benefit the most would be Bloomberg, if he's going to be a serious player, and I think he is going to be a serious player. So you've got that. There's just a lot here to unpack when it comes to him, and I just don't think he's up for it. I do not think he's up for it. And that big lead he had in South Carolina that was like 12, 15 points is now down to about 4 or 5, and that says a lot. That says a ton. And if Bernie happens to crush it there, could that get people to jump? Maybe. But I will say this, if he loses bad here in New Hampshire, I mean, I think he'd be happy with third, because he never really thought he had a chance in New Hampshire. That's always Bernie country, maybe Elizabeth Warren country, but not so much middle class, Sleepy Joe. But if he goes and he loses in South Carolina, that may be it for him. He may not make it to Super Tuesday. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. You can text the program as well. So, I had to use awful towels again because I wasn't home and I didn't bring my pillow towels with me. And it was just, you have to use like 3 of them just to get yourself dry. It's horrible. My Pillow is everything. First of all, they've got the best stuff. Like, I continue to say, my favorite thing is my mattress topper. The My Pillows are great, and this weekend I'll be traveling, going to see Jack. I'll take my Go Anywhere pillows, but my mattress topper is the best thing in the world. But these towels are incredible. Incredible. Super absorbent, right? So just sucks up the water, luxury feel and look, 5 designer choices to choose from, and they're extra big and extra soft. 30 by 56 bath towels, 16 by 30 hand towels, washcloths as well, made in the USA, 100% USA-made cotton. Why does it matter? Because when you get them, they're not going to have that cheap fill. Right? You wash them once and they don't feel the same because they're full of cheap fillers and softeners. Nope. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee, and right now, 30% off. Simple and easy. All you have to do is go to MyPillow.com, click on the new radio listener special. When you do, you're going to get saved 30% on these things, and remember to type in code Benson. Code Benson. MyPillow.com, new radio listener special. Code is Benson. You're going to save 30%. You get a 60-day money-back guarantee, or call 800-983-4975. Use that promo code Benson. It's the Chad Benson Show.
You go, boy.
This isn't about right or left. This is just about right and wrong.
Right you are, Chad. The Chad Benson Show.
It's a great op-ed in the New York Times about Sherrod Brown. If you don't know who Sherrod Brown is, an interesting character. He is a senator in Ohio, And he wrote this op-ed that is just, I mean, it's really interesting to read what he said and says. It's kind of middle of the road Democrat, but he says in private, Republicans admit they acquitted Trump out of fear. Well, I think that's absolutely true. I mean, absolutely. First of all, you don't want your team to feel like they've done something wrong because it reflects poorly on you. Secondly, damn Skippy, they're scared. They want to keep their jobs, right? They like the fiefdoms and the kingdoms they're building for themselves. They like the fact that they fly all around and they have great lunches and they've got a monicum of fame, and some of them even more of that. They like the power they have. There is no doubt in my mind, because I've talked to several people like, you don't know. I'm like, I don't know, because they're texting me. Trust me, I know more than you think. I've been doing this a long time. That off the record, there's more than a few. It's not as many as I think some people would think, but there is more than a few in the Senate that would have zero problem if Trump went away and would like it. Pence is going to do the same thing. He's just not going to do it in the Trump way. They're afraid, and he puts it, he says it right here. They're afraid of Fox. They're afraid of talk radio. And they're afraid of the Twitter trolls and what they'll do. And most of all, they're afraid of what Trump will do and his reaction. They're all waiting for their nickname. Low Energy Jeb, Lion Ted, Little Marco. Those are some of the things they worry about. Now, do I think there was probably 10 that may have gone in the direction had it been a private vote where it was totally anonymous? I think you might have found something like that. Do I think that it would have been 40? No. No. You have some people that will defend Trump at all costs, just like on the other side, Republicans would do Democrats would do the exact same thing. Because that's what they do, right? Sorry, this is the team. This is our team, and this is the team right here. So the team is that gets the team thing, and we do team stuff, and we're going to protect our team. We protect the badge. Protecting the badge. That is an interesting article, though. Really is when you read it. Because, yeah, there's absolutely, just like there were people. Look, there's also, I would say this, there's also Democrats I've talked to who believe that it was a complete overreach by Schiff and the House. That they were going along with it because they felt like that's what you have to do, but quietly to themselves, they thought he shouldn't have done what he did. Hopefully he learns from it. At the end of the day, is it worth canceling out 62.5 million votes 11 months before an election? No, it doesn't rise to that level. It goes both ways. But, yeah, there's no doubt. What was done yesterday, that's why I say you can take away the craziness of your allegiance to one side or the other. Step back for a second, just out of your own life. Step back. All right, Chad, I'm stepping back. And say to yourself, what Romney did had some cojones, right? He knew what was coming. The left doesn't love him. They like what he did. The right can't stand him, but it took cojones. And I pointed out the John Adams thing. John Adams defended the Boston Massacre, and he got destroyed for it in his day. Absolutely. You're going to ruin your life. All of these things. We looked at back, he's the first vice president, second president. We look at him in a much different way now. And what he did as courageous because he wanted to show, hey, you know what? I got news for you guys. We're going to show the king we're different. We're going to show the king we're different. This is who we are. This is the nation we're building. This is what we're doing. This is why we're different. And I'm going to do the right thing, even though it's unpopular. Being a great leader is doing the right thing when it's unpopular. Doing the right thing when it's easy and it's popular is easy. And this was a judgment thing. Mitch thought he had to do this. That's what he thought. Like I said, I believe what Trump did was wrong. I believe he's got a Rudy problem. I believe there was a lot of missteps in this. And I believe that he also shouldn't be removed for this. He shouldn't. There's just, we're and part of that, I think, is also just the veracity of which the Democrats continue to come at him. It's nonstop. It's never ending. And how much do I buy into all of what they're doing and how above board it is? It's hard to see with all the partisan craziness that's going on. It is tough to see all of it and to buy into it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Love hearing from you. White guilt dinners, huh? Bloomberg, how real is he? Talk about it straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
The number one criteria that Democratic primary voters have for the nominee is what? Beat Donald Trump. That's right. And here's why I am the best person to beat Donald Trump in the general election. You know who has already figured out that I'm his toughest matchup? Donald Trump. I am the only candidate in the field he has not tweeted a word about. And he has not tweeted a word about me for two reasons. Number one, he knows I'm better at the internet than he is. And number two, his most potent attacks are that you're a corrupt D.C. politician, and none of this stuff works on me.
No, he's funny. It's going to be sad to see him go. And like I said, if I was president of the United States, that guy's in my administration somewhere, right? If we have the creative position for him, that's Andrew Yang right there. Just, again, the Yang gang. I like the stuff that Yang talks about. Whether or not it's plausible, whether or not it's realistic, I couldn't tell you, right? First of all, in politics, nothing is ever as it seems. You can come up with the greatest idea. You could roll it out there, and then politics gets involved. And once politics gets involved, that idea gets whittled down. It's like a movie script, right? I think there was a movie probably 20 years ago, 30 years. Kevin Bacon starred in it, and it was, I think it was called The Big Picture. And it was the most hilarious movie about Hollywood, right? 1989. God, that's how long ago. It's 30 years ago this movie comes out. And this is what happened. This guy's like an up-and-coming director. He wins this award from the school he's going to. And everybody wants his script. He becomes the hottest guy in Hollywood. So he has this script. And he sells this script. And he's going to direct this script. And somewhere from the point where he sells the script to the point where he's going to direct this script, the people that he wanted to bring with him to help him do it, the studios don't like. They have their own people. Then what this script was about ends up being torn apart. It was like this long lost, like the Notebook kind of love story that was going to be shot in sepia, and next thing you know, it's about ghost and you know, there's a scene of sex and all. That's politics, right? It's like even Bernie. Like Bernie gets elected. You think you're getting anything done? You're not getting stuff done. Even people in your own party who are, quote, part of the establishment have lobbyists. They're going to be all over them saying, do we need to primary you? Right? That's why Bernie said, you need to get out there. We need to start a revolution. Even when I'm in office, you start a revolution. Even when I'm in office, you get out there on a daily basis. Millions of people marching. That's what he wants because he knows that's what he has to have. That's what he absolutely has to have. You have to have that. And even at that, you going to get anything done? You have 535 people in D.C., and it doesn't take a ton. Throw a monkey wrench in something. So that's the funny thing about this, right? Just because you lay out your plan, once you find out that people start looking at your plan, what's in it for me? What's in it for my area? What's in it for my constituents? How does it hurt my constituents? What's this going to cost? How much can I get out of that? Yeah. Funny, though. I love it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Tell you what, the winner from Iowa as we head into New Hampshire is absolutely Michael Bloomberg. Bloomberg's got a smile on his face. And if you look at some of the numbers that are popping up right now, guys, he may be for real. People say, well, he's buying it. Well, Tom Steyer's a billionaire. He ain't buying his way into anything. Tom Steyer got less than 1% of the vote. Less than 1% of the vote. Think about that for a second. He spends all this money, and he's been going at it much longer. Now, granted, his name isn't as big as Bloomberg, but he's been going at it much longer. He's had ads all over MSNBC and CNN nonstop since Trump was elected about how he's going to take him out. But you look at some of the new polls that are coming out nationwide, not in places like New Hampshire where Bloomberg hasn't been, or where you go to South Carolina and Nevada. No, but you look at the nationwide polls, and it's about electability. What do they want? They want somebody to beat Trump. Even Yang said that. Yang said the number one thing at the caucus, 62% of people said the most important thing wasn't health care, wasn't immigration, wasn't the economy. It was somebody who could beat Trump. Nationwide, people are starting to look and say, is that guy that's most electable somebody who's has the best chance to beat Trump on that stage? Is it Bloomberg? I think it is. I absolutely think it is. I think Bernie's politics itself will speak for itself, and I think they're counting on that. That moderate Democrats are going to go third party, or they're not going to come out and vote. Bernie's people, while enthusiastic, nationwide, does it have the same draw? I don't know if it does. I think in big cities it might, but in rural areas, in the Midwest, I don't think he's going to have that same kind of pull. Mike Bloomberg occupies a lane that Biden was in that is now getting to be more trafficky, if you will. It's a little traffic jam there because Buttigieg is taking up a lot of that lane, and he's going faster. But there's the question about the age and whether people want to address it or not. There's a question about, him being gay, which shouldn't matter, but it does. Bloomberg, though, super successful, right? Has been a Republican. He's all over the place. Will people trust him? I don't know. He should have run as an independent. Maybe he will. That would be hilarious. That would be. But I think when you look at electability, people are going to look across the board. You look at the new Gallup poll. You look at the new Morning Consult. And Mike Bloomberg is in front when it comes to taking on Trump and beating him. So I think he's a for real candidate. He is spending tons of his money, which, by the way, I am totally fine with. Oh, they're just trying to buy the election. I'm fine with that, right? Because you're trying to buy your election as well. You just want to use other people's money. I like the fact that he wants to use his own money. That should be refreshing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Shows your Twitter. White guilt.
And when I say ladies, I want to be clear that this is anybody that identifies as a woman and yeah, white women talking to you. So I am talking with you this morning because I've been doing something that's racist. And I think I thought maybe it was like a little racist. Fact is no such thing. Totally racist and very problematic.
There is a dinner that women spend up to $2,500. White women, by the way. White women. It's called Race to Dinner. Right? So it's Race to Dinner. It's a 2-hour event with Regina Jackson and Soraya Rao. And you go to this dinner, and essentially, they talk about how awful you are and how racist you are. That was one person who works with them, you know, but there are many others. And, boy, they echo the same sentiment. It drives me crazy. I'm going to throw it out there, right? Like when you look through the lens of everything is race and this intersectionality world where everybody has to be, white male that's straight, you are the worst person on earth. You were all that's wrong with America, all that's wrong with the world. Even though you were my 9-year-old son is, as far as people like this are concerned, is the worst person on the planet because he was born as a white heterosexual male. And that's just automatically makes you a bad person. And it's so funny as they talk about this stuff, and it's reading some of the reviews, like some people thought they were going to go there to learn some things. And they said, some of them did, like, I did come out learning some stuff. And other people like, I went there and for 2 hours they berated me till I cried a lot and made me feel worse about who I was. Because that's what it's all about. It's white guilt.
Hey, y'all, it's Lisa, your resident white woman here. And today we're going to talk about the big call out or call in or whatever you want to call it. That moment when somebody around you says or does something racist, what do you do? So it's holiday season time. There's going to be parties over here, parties over there, it's a party everywhere, right? And inevitably, somebody's going to say or do something racist. How do you respond?
Inevitably? Well, yeah, Chad, inevitably somebody's going to say or do something that's racist. What? What have I said forever? In this day that we live now, in this woke culture, it's not what you say, it's how it's taken. Right? The what you think was holding the door for somebody is now misogyny and sexism, right? What you thought was, well, fine, I won't do that again, and then I open the door and I close it. The person coming behind happens to be a black female. That's racism. You can't win for losing. And the fact that you would go and pay, it's crazy when you think about this, right? When people talk about race, the same people that want to talk about race want to judge you based on your race, based on whether or not you're male or female. They're judging you the same way you think they're judging them. And it's nuts. And the fact that people pay to go to these things is insane. But in this day and age, in a certain, and I hear things like this, and the first thing that comes to my mind is, this is why Trump. This is why Trump. This kind of stuff is the reason why Trump. People get frustrated. And so you've got white liberal women that are paying $2,500 to go be berated because maybe it makes them feel better. It's insane. That to me, just, we can't have normal conversations in this country because we have now put so many people on notice that if you dare step out of line, or what is perceived to be stepping out of line, if you know you didn't think you'd do anything, you'll get damned to hell. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. Car Shield. Over 1 million customers. You're thinking, what's Car Shield, Chad? Let me tell you what Car Shield is. Say you got a car, right? You bought a car. It was used. Right? You didn't get a factory warranty with it, but you like it. You love it. You like not having a payment. Guess what? This is where Car Shield comes in. Car Shield has affordable plans that can save you thousands on cover repairs, including things like computers, systems inside, GPS, electronics, and so much more. You get to choose the plan. You get to choose your favorite mechanic. And this is what I love. You get 24/7 roadside assistance and a rental car for free. So they're going to take it where you tell them to take it. They're going to make sure you've got wheels to get to and from wherever you need to go while your car's getting worked on. And you get to choose. I take it to my favorite mechanic. Take it to the dealership. You pay a small deductible. They get them paid directly. It's that simple. Million customers. Why don't you join now? Simple and easy. Tell them what kind of car you have, what kind of plan you're looking at. $99 is usually what plans are starting at. So worth it. Let me tell you something. Absolutely worth it. You're going to love it. Call them today. Car Shield. Simple and easy. Say, Chad, send me. Hey, Benson. That's all you got to say. You're going to save yourself 10%. 800-CAR-6000. 800-CAR-6000. Use my code Benson to save you 10%, or check everything out online at carshield.com, carshield.com. Use that code Benson to save you 10%. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
Experiencing separation anxiety? That's dumb. Check out Chad 24/7 at his website, ChadBensonShow.com, and on iTunes, free. The Chad Benson Show. Never feel lonely again.
What happened instead was the president using the Congress of the United States as a backdrop for a reality show, presenting a state of mind that had no contact with reality whatsoever.
Between her... Right? Between her and then him.
My family, our great country, and your president have been put through a terrible ordeal.
I've had enough. I'll be honest with you. I've absolutely had enough. I'm over it. You guys need to move on. Now would be awesome. If you guys could just get, there you go. There you go. There you go. Good. There we go. We're over this now. You guys go back to doing the work of the people or the work of the party or whatever. We'll just get on with our lives. All right? Trump, go do the things that you want to do, that you said you were going to do. Nancy, go do the things that you said you were going to fight against and that you want to do. Mitch McConnell, you stay there and continue to kill everything that comes down from both sides of the aisle. And the rest of us are going to go about our day doing our thing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. So they've got a patch for nicotine. Got a patch for a lot of things. How about a patch for this?
Rolling out a new product to help those who are trying to give up meat. Take a look. This is called the meat patch. You wear it on your arm just like a nicotine patch, and it does work in kind of a similar way. It contains a bacon scent, which is released by then scratching the patch. It's a scratch and sniff. Studies have shown that the scent can then reduce cravings. Right now, it is only available in the UK.
Yeah, because it's stupid. Anthony said something earlier that was like, when I smell something that if I'm hungry and I smell something that's good, I want to eat something. If you want to get rid of appetite, have them scratch it and it smell like something that's vile. You're like, oh, God, now I'm not hungry. But, like, if bacon or, like, maybe a nice charbroiled burger or steak is what you are hungry for, and then you scratch it, that hunger is what? Not going to go away. But they think that certain scents, so you smell something, and that it will satisfy some of those cravings. I do not buy into that. But it's a meat patch, so enjoy that. AMAC, Association of Mature American Citizens, fastest growing organization for people over the age of 50. Out there fighting for you on your behalf for things like common sense immigration reform, fighting to make sure that things like Medicare and Social Security are absolutely solvent, that they're not going anyway, that they're going to be there for you because you paid into them, you've earned them, and you want to see them stick around. On top of that, they offer benefits too numerous to mention, but retail, restaurant, hotel discounts, discounts on insurance, and so many other things. And right now is your chance to join this amazing organization for free. Absolutely free. All you have to do is go to amac.us/chat. It is a 1-year free membership. amac.us/. There's no cost, no tricks, no credit card required. Just a free membership for 1 year. amac.us/chat or call 888-355-1668. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at me. You can text the program. Check out the Instagram as well. And if you want to see people argue and fight, go to the Facebook page because apparently that's where things happen nowadays. That's the real world we live in. Have yourself a wonderful rest of your day and evening. We'll do it again tomorrow. Oh, thank God. I see Friday. Night, Jack.
This is The Chad Benson Show.